Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'een. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammad. Kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim. Innaka Hamidun Majid. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. How are you all doing? Very nice to see you all virtually. Alhamdulillah, we have about 40 folks here. And I guess we are good to go. All right. See folks from all over. If you don't mind, can you just type into the chat where you're joining us from, what state? We got Michigan, we got Georgia, California, Maryland, North Carolina. All right, New Jersey is my home state. Ohio, Toronto, New York. Okay. Morocco, California, Charlotte, North Carolina. Alhamdulillah, I'm glad to have you all with us. New York City, Toronto, Montreal, Virginia, Ontario, wow, Minnesota. Awesome, awesome. Brisbane, Australia. Wonderful. Well, welcome to your first, and inshallah, not your last Fawaka class. Massachusetts, awesome. Texas, cool. Let's go ahead and jump into this. Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Let's start our first lesson and get right into it. So my name is Nihal Ahmed Khan. Ismi Nihal Ahmed Khan. That's how you say it in Arabic. Ismi means my name. Ism means name, and the ya that gets attached to it means my name. So my name is Nihal Ahmed Khan. Now, if we get into this discussion, I remember on the WhatsApp group, we had several people going over the meanings of their names, right? I think a lot of you all did that. The meaning of my name is very interesting, and it's, I may have mentioned it. It mainly means somebody who's happy, right? Somebody who's motivated, somebody who's just in good spirits. And then, subhanAllah, you know, I may be your instructor, but I'm also here to learn from you. I'm also here to understand your own perspectives as well. We're going to get into that as well. But learning is lifelong. Learning is not something that necessarily stops at a certain point. So when I was looking up the meanings of my own name yesterday, I didn't realize this because I always thought that my name in Arabic was a place of water. But just yesterday, I happened to learn that it also is in reference to somebody who is thirsty, waiting to be quenched, right? Waiting to be given water. So all of that is a very interesting space to be in for certain. So that's my name, and you all have your names and the meanings that go with them. So I know I read some of them. Some of you had very wonderful names. All of you have very wonderful names. Some of your names are unique. Some of your names are very representative of who you are. So it's very nice to know what your name means so that it inspires courage, so that it inspires motivation within yourself. Now let's get into it. This is a saying, a prophetic saying, it's a hadith, where the Prophet, peace be upon him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, said, خيركم من تعلم القرآن وعلمه. And I like to think of this as the thesis of this course. The thesis is what? Is that the best of you are those that learn the Quran, right? And I'm going to stop there and then go back. And the best of you are those that teach the Quran, right? Now, you can look at this in a few different ways, that the best of you are those that first, number one, learn the Quran and then teach it. Or you can also look at it where there's not really any hierarchy, that The best of you are those that learn it, and the best of you are those that teach it. Just whatever works for you, because we know there's sayings within our faith that will that teach us that, for example, if you can't be a scholar, be a student. If you can't be a student, right, and you're going past that the basics aren't sufficing you anymore, then be a scholar. All right, the best of you are those that learn the Quran, the best of you are those that teach it. So figure out which space that leaves you in. Are you somebody that can only maybe learn the Quran? Okay, then suffice with that. What works for you? That's the question. And for some of you, maybe the best way that you learn something is by teaching it, so you can teach the Quran, right? I know for me, like, and I'm going to give you guys an intro into this. If I can learn Arabic, anybody can, right? That's the motivation I'm going to give you all. If I can do it, you can do it. And the reason I say that is because I found learning to be very difficult growing up. I struggled in school, I struggled in college, and when I got into learning Arabic, I had good teachers that motivated me. I had good teachers that told me to believe in myself. And I'm going to tell you all right now, you're going to have to believe in yourself that you can pick up this material. You want to know when I really learned Arabic is when I started teaching it. It started sticking in me, right? And that also relates to another point within Islamic literature where the Prophet, peace be upon him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is quoted to have said that بَلِّغُوا عَنِّي وَلَوْ آيَةً, convey from me even if it's one verse. So if you can teach one thing to one other person, that's a very good thing that you're doing. So keep that in mind. So welcome to Fawaka Institute, right? Fawaka Institute was founded in 2008. And what was the purpose of it? Why was Fawaka founded? What was the reason for it? The reason was one thing: to build literacy of the Quran, to make it easy for people to become literate in understanding the Quran. And that's through the Arabic language. So what exactly was going on here? What exactly was it in reference to? Well, Fawaka means fruits, right? And the point is to give the fruit of the Quran to every single person that's out there, whoever wants to join. And not only that, 2008 till 2021, that's 2008, that's 13 years, right? 13 years. I know it's what is it? Today is January 13th, 2021, but it feels like December 43rd, 2020, right? That's what it feels like to a lot of us. But how exactly did Fawaka start originally? Well, there was a sixth level curriculum that they had developed, and the purpose was one thing, was to teach and understand the Quran in Arabic. That was the main focus. And alhamdulillah, they've been going around and doing that throughout the country, and then they shifted to an online platform, and they've done very well in that. The curriculum that they use is at the University of Chicago to teach Arabic, and also at the Hartford Seminary through Dr. Suhail Lahir. I'm just going to give a shout out to, I think, one of my classmates, John. I see you. Hope you're doing well. So it's also being used at the Hartford Seminary. It's being used at the University of Chicago. So alhamdulillah, the curriculum has made it very far and wide. They launched weekly courses in 2012 and then eventually shifted online in 2015. They switched online before, believe it or not, it was cool to do before the pandemic. Right now, everyone's shifted online, but Fawaka has been ahead of the game. So now you understand that, you see it. And not only that, the coolest thing about Fawaka is that, you may hear about teachers of institutions who are brought in from the outside, but within Fawaka, the fruits that they produce, pun intended, is that they end up doing what? They end up getting a lot of their own students to become teachers. I was actually just talking to Ustadh Ismail before. Ustadh Ismail himself was a Fawaka student, and now he's a Fawaka instructor. So what exactly are we going to be covering? Well, there's the 1A classes, which will go over grammar, morphology, and text analysis. I know some of those words you probably haven't heard since the SAT, but I kid you not, don't worry, you'll become very comfortable and familiar with them very easily. So that's what the 1A classes will go over. And then There's the 1B classes, which will go into listening, Quran analysis, and it'll also be review of 1A. Now, why should we review 1A if we are done with 1A? Well, I'll tell you this. Sometimes Arabic can be a little bit like math, but don't worry. I'm horrible at math and I can teach this, right? How can it be like math? Well, it's a concept you're going to learn, and then the concept's going to be drilled into you over and over and over again. This is a place where you will be made a little uncomfortable, but you'll really grow through that discomfort. And sometimes certain conflicts, you may always have that. Certain conflicts are not meant to be solved. Certain conflicts are meant to make you comfortable with the conflicts. So maybe you're going to be a little discomforted by the fact that you have to take a word that says nasara, and then you have to turn it into a present tense verb, and you'll say yansuru. Or I'll ask you, why is in inna Allah, why is Allah ha and not hu? And you're gonna have to think to yourself and say, there's this word inna that comes before it, so it's going to make the word after it nasab. What's nasab? What's the meaning of nasab? My job is to work with you to see where your growing edges are and help you to continue to grow. Okay. Guidelines. Okay. They call these guidelines, where I come from in New Jersey, we call them ground and house rules. What are some of the house rules here? Number one, this is a safe space. What does that mean? That means you are welcome in this space to make mistakes. You are welcome in this space to not always get it right. You are welcome in this space to completely and utterly not understand something so that you now know where that weakness lies and you can grow with it, right? Making a mistake is not easy. Making a mistake in front of your classmates is not easy. But here, everyone is going to respect you. We're going to respect each other, right? We're not going to look down on somebody if they're struggling. We're going to help them. We're going to see how sometimes maybe one student gets something after reading it once or twice. Maybe you're like me and you have to read it 5, 6, 7, 8 times until it really sits in your mind. So don't worry about that. You'll be able to get through it, inshallah. So number 2, very important. I'm going to assume you have watched the video. This is, as I had mentioned in the text, this is not a lesson. This is not a class. This is a lab. When you come to lab, you're simply testing. What are you testing? You're testing your ability within the theory that you have already learned. How do you apply the theory? How do you apply what you've learned? And that's literally what we're going to be going over. Have you applied it? Have you learned it? Do you understand it? Now, you're not going to be able to do that if you don't watch the video, okay? You know, in the mornings, do you forget to eat food? Or in the evenings? Or do you forget to drink water? Or if you're Muslim, do you forget to pray? No. So why are you forgetting to watch the video? Right? Always watch the video. Always. Come to the class prepared. You guys are all here on your own choice and volition. You're paying for the course. I'm here with you. The best way to make do with it is to watch the video, inshallah. Which leads me to my next point, cold calling. I may randomly call you out and I'll be like, hey, Nihal, what do you think about this word? Do you think it's an ism, a fi'l, or a harf, which is something we're going to be going over? And if you look at me and be like, I think it's both, then I know you haven't watched the video, right? So make sure that you're watching the video and I will be calling on you. But look, let's say your mic is off or your camera's off, that's completely okay. And like I call on you and your 4-year-old is like throwing M&Ms across the street and your cat is like catching it. So you're like, I can't open the camera right now. And that's completely fine. I understand. Not everyone's going to be able to answer questions, but do your best to do it. Use the chat box to send messages to myself or to answer questions. I do ask that you all, not just talk about random stuff in the chat box while we're having class. So I'm going to ask you to keep that off. Like, I get it, Trump got impeached twice, history is in the making, but we can talk about that later, right? You don't have to talk about that in class right now. So just keep the chat box to a bare minimum of understanding the things that we are going to be talking about within class. And then keep your mic off unless you're called on, right? And you can do Alt-A or Shift-Command-A. I think Shift-Command-A is like a MacBook thing, which I would know absolutely nothing about. So that's basically that. So let's get into, actually, before we get into it, any questions, you can type it into the chat box, or if not, that's completely okay as well. Okay, cool. Let's get into it. Kalimat. A kalima in Arabic is known as a word. Kalimat are words with an S. Okay. Kalimat are words with an S. And that's going to be our first lesson. So, does anyone have any questions from the lesson? Anything they watched which just didn't sit well with them? If so, you can go ahead and ask them. Now is your time. Oops, what am I doing? If no questions, you can just type no. For some reason, the chat box not showing up. Here we go. Okay. Good. Alrighty. All right, cool. Let's get into it. All right. Oh, we got another. There was a root word for two words and the meaning was given for the words, but not the root. Okay. Can you put a pin in that, please? To Miriam, Matthew. Minor question, why is Bismillah most commonly, in my experience, translated as in the name of God instead of with the name of God? We will talk about that soon, inshallah. I think that's a very good question from Michelle. We'll talk about that soon, inshallah. In the binder, page 25, why is there no wa or and between Ghafur Rahim? Page 25 in the binder. Well, the short answer to that is actually that's how it's written in the Quran. Okay, that's how it's written in the Quran. There's going to be different ways of understanding things, but within the science of balagha, there are certain things that are assumed that are said when you say something. Sometimes, you know, there's a saying in English, there's sometimes a lot more meaning in what you didn't say. That's not exactly what's going on, but grammatically speaking, that's what usually happens here. Okay. I think for material wise, I think that's good. Let's get right back into it, inshallah. Okay. Alrighty. Teach me back. Okay, this is gonna be fun. Now I'm gonna call on people. Ooh, let's see who actually did their work. All right. Types of words. Can somebody explain to me? Can somebody explain to me something? I want you to explain to me the types of words in the Arabic language. So I'm going to call on people. I'm going to call on, let's see. Assalamu alaikum. Osama Malik, how are you?
Alaikum salam. I for some reason had this feeling. I was like, he's gonna look at me or call me out, but it's okay. Good.
Don't worry, it's not because you have your camera on. The next person I'm going to call doesn't have their camera on. Yeah. So can you explain to me what types of words there are in Arabic?
Yeah. So the lesson covered the three main types. There's the ism, which is in our English nouns, pronouns, and adjectives.
Okay.
Is the fi'l, which is the verbs. And then there is the harf, which is the particles, like the to, in, wa, and so the conjugations and prepositions and things like that. And so from those, but from those three we then kind of get what we have in English, you know, branched out into these three categories. But you know, like I don't know if there's anything else beyond that, but like the the ism covers, you know, not just names, but you know, types of entities, attributes, things like that. The fi'l, the verbs, of course, is just like, you know, different actions that are committed, or you know, verbs as in like to do, to, you know, things like that that are kind of come out. And then the particles, or the harf, don't have any independent meaning in and of themselves. They are they don't have that without an ism or a fi'l, or then without a verb or a noun. They don't have like a distinct meaning, but with those they do. And I know I'm missing probably a whole lot of other things, but those are the three particular types of words within Arabic.
Nice. Is this your first Arabic class?
No, I've taken another one prior to this, but didn't get to do as much of a deep dive into it.
Okay. Well, I'll say this much. I don't know what other people are now going to have to explain, because you explained everything.
Oh.
Yeah. Don't worry. Good job, though. That's a good elevator pitch. That's exactly what we're looking for. Actually, we're looking for an elevator pitch. So I would invest in your company.
Oh, exactly.
Good job. All righty. Let's see who's next. I'm gonna pick someone. I'm gonna pick Khadija Khan. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Khadija, I have a question. Which word is caged in time?
Fail.
Nice. Good job. Good job. All right. And all right. Cool. And then I have another question for, who else can I ask? Hasnain Rizvi, assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
I have a question for you. How do we recognize an ism? What's the main way to recognize an ism?
It can be preceded by al, like alif lam, and then it can end in the tanween. Yeah.
Okay, good job. Good job. Very well done. And I think that should do it. Let me pick one more person just to even this out. Salma, assalamu alaikum. So here's my question for you, Salma. What are the 4 letters that identify the fi'l, the verb?
The 4 letters that identify the fi'l verb are alif, noon, ya, and there's one more, ta.
All right, good job. Very well done. Very well done. Yeah, and an easy way to remember that is the acronym ANEAT, like a neat bed or a neat sofa or a neat home, right? Does it matter which one you use? Question from Faye. Yes, it does. And you're going to learn about that eventually. But my short elevator pitch to you is that the letter alif often, not always, but often is used to identify me or I saying it. The letter noon is usually recognized, and all of these are in present tense verbs. But the letter noon is usually used to recognize that we are doing it. The ya is used to say that he is doing it. And the ta is used to say that, well, actually, they all have several meanings, but mainly that you are doing it. Right? That's the main thing. Let's see. Why are there 2 versions of plural for a word? Ismail answered it. There's there's 2 main ways of expressing plurals. We're going to learn that eventually. Yeah. Okay. Good job. Good job, everyone. All right. Let's do this. We were supposed to classify words. And I'm going to cold call on some of y'all again. Classify each of the following words as ism, fi'l, or harf by placing a check in the appropriate box as the example shows. Use lesson 1 vocab for the recognition tips to help. Okay. All righty. Who am I going to pick? Saima Azhar, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
All right. Can you tell me what Rabbun is? Ism, fi'l, or harf?
Ism.
Are you sure?
Yes.
All right. Yep, you're correct. Good job. I'm just going to go down the list now. Dua Shu'aib, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
All right. Al-Buyut, what do you think?
Ism.
All right. Ta-da, good job. Aisha Abdul Basit.
Here.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, good.
How about Kataba, number 4? What do you think that
Kataba
is?
is a fi'l.
Awesome. Why do I teach this course? You guys know everything. All right, good job. Afishatu. Afishatu's iPad, if you're there. Okay. Let's see. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yes. Sister Afishatu, what is fee?
Ha?
So the letter here, fee?
Yeah,
Is that an ism or
no,
fi'l
no.
or a harf?
At.
Harf, mashallah. Very good. Thank you. Okay. Akhtar Ali Khan, assalamu alaikum, number 6.
Mu'minun. Mu'minuna. I think it's ism.
Ism? All right, very good. Let's see. Let's see if you're right. Yep, it's an ism. Awesome, thank you. Fahmina Merchant, Insanun, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. That's an ism.
All right, let's see. Yep, you're right. Good job. Michelle Iqbal.
I think it would be helpful if we can explain with each why it's an ism.
You want
Just
me to explain
quickly.
why it's an ism? How about you explain why it's an ism?
Well, I know the one that I answered.
Which one?
It ends with tanween. The 7, number 7.
Yeah, it ends with
And
tanween. Good.
And number 6.
Well, here, how about, why do you think mu'minuna is ism?
Mu'minuna is ism because it ends with the zabar. I mean, 6 is I don't quite understand.
Yeah,
Why it's
right
an
now, yeah, you probably won't understand it fully, but the sound that it's making here is una, right? And one thing that we're going to work on is that the way the Arabic language is going to be taught, there is a logical progression that will occur where you'll learn exactly why it's an ism, but there's going to be a few gaps that will be filled in every lesson. So what's interesting is that the person who identified it as mu'minuna did it without them necessarily fully understanding, but there are also ways of understanding it through meaning. So believers, right? Believers is also the meaning of it. So based on meaning, which is actually number 6 on the vocab list, if you go back to it.
Okay, I don't fully remember all the vocab. That's why.
Yeah, make sure you're reading it. Yeah.
I was just trying to apply the rules that you had.
Yeah.
In the lessons to figure all them out.
Yeah, sometimes the words, you'll eventually know by the end of, inshallah, this semester, you'll know every single word, why it is an ism, fi'al, or harf. You will have a full logical explanation. But because we're in the beginning of the course, we're going to give you, let's say, certain vocabulary words to memorize that will be sent to you every week, or you have them already, and you can, inshallah, use them.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Michelle Iqbal.
Hi, assalamu alaikum.
Hi,
Taktubu is a fi'l because it starts with a ta.
Very good. Good job. Kathleen Marchand.
That one's a fill.
Which one? This one?
Yeah, number 9.
Yep.
And To tell you the truth, I figured out it was a fish just because it wasn't a noun. It didn't have the stuff for the noun. So then I knew it wasn't a preposition. So, and because it was too long, it wasn't a noun because it didn't have the L and it didn't have the ending. So then I just put it as a verb.
Who agrees
Which
with
was
that?
basic.
Does anyone disagree?
Yes.
Yes.
What is this?
It's a noun.
It's a noun.
It's
I would have
It's a ism
preceded by
It's
harf.
both.
because it has
both
alif lam.
harf and ism.
Harf and ism.
Yeah, harf and ism. Yeah.
Wow, we got a couple of contenders over here. This is gonna be rough. Are y'all ready?
Okay, so there's two words, is what you're saying.
There are. So
So,
let's
so
see.
the B is the
It's
preposition and
both.
then
Yep.
Mhm.
This one wanted to challenge you because the B here is a harf, and then al-kitabati is a ism. Yeah.
basically everything but what I put.
Well, the easy way, Kathleen, is that if you remember the 4 letters that we had spoken about, the alif, the noon, the ya, and the ta, those are indicators of the verb. So none of them are at the beginning here. So fi'l would have been ruled out at the bare minimum. But now you know. So
Thank you.
yep. And John, how about you? Good to see you, by the way.
Russaline
Yep.
is an ism,
Yep.
and it's indicated by the tanween.
Yep.
If I may quickly ask, is the
Yes.
definite article a harf?
Is a definite article a harf? Not necessarily. It's actually less, yeah, it's not classified actually under any of the 3 categories. But I guess by that definition, it holds no meaning, but you won't see it applicably be classified as a harf. Yeah, does that help?
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Cool, good job, everyone. All right, let's do the next lesson. For each ayah below, classify each word in the ayah as ism, fi'l, or harf. All right. If only specific words are underlined, then classify only those words. Excuse me. Ismail, perhaps you can answer this. The question, actually, yes, I think, yes, sorry. Actually, this is fine. So Mahreen, yes, Ismail answered it. So the vocab is on page 20, so make sure you memorize them. It's roughly what, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 words. All right, 18 words. So I think 18 words is bearable. All righty. Let's see. Yes, and please make sure that you're using the vocab that is in the Memrise app. You should have gotten an email about that. All right. So for each ayah below, classify each word in the ayah as an ism, fi'l, or harf, and if only specific words are underlined, then classify only those words. Who wants to try? Sarah. I haven't picked on Sarah. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum.
Oh no, sorry. I think wrong Sarah. Sarah Buagila.
Alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
It's Bujela. Barjela.
How do I say it?
The last name is Barjela.
Barjela.
Barjela, yeah.
Barjela, okay. Gotcha. So what do you think? Number 1.
The first one, Allahu Samad, they're both ism.
Let's see. I and I. Ding, ding, ding. You got it right. Good job. All right. Number 2. How about user Naeem Ghani?
Sorry.
No
User
problem.
Naeem Ghani is me. I'm Farida Ghani.
Farida, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Okay.
All right.
Wallahu is starting with wow is a harf.
Yep, good job.
Lahu is an ism.
Mm-hmm.
Kodirun another ism. It ends in a tanween.
All right, good
Wa
job.
again is a harf.
All right.
Allahu is an ism.
Let's see. Okay. Good.
Ghafuru is an ism. It ends with a tanween.
Uh-huh.
Rahim ends in a tanween, so that's another ism.
Very good. Congratulations. Good job.
Alhamdulillah.
All righty. Let's see. Who did I not pick? Shahnaz M, number 3.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Is your name Shahnaz or Sahnaz?
Shahnaz is fine.
Okay.
Inna is a harf.
Oh, no, sorry. My bad. Hold on. Yeah, I kind of gave that one away. Actually, here, let's see. Can you do naktubu for me?
It's an ism.
Naktubu is a fi'l, actually.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's a fi'l.
Why do you think it's a
Because
fi'l?
of the anit, the noon, and then the
okay.
wa is the harf.
All right, good. Yeah, so I think the way this is going to go is we're going to just follow the underlined words, but good job. Faye.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
For number 4, fi is harf.
All right.
As-samawati is ism.
All right.
Wa is harf, and al-ard is ism.
Good. Good.
Lillahi is ism. Kataba is.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Let's see.
Oh.
Ready? Oh, what happened?
Oh, the lamb. Lillahi.
There you go.
Okay.
Good
so
job.
Harf, and then ism.
Does everyone understand actually what happened here? Why there's a lam that's harf? Does everyone understand or no?
Oh, there's a there's a
shadda on top of it.
There's 2 lambs.
Double lam. True, but I'm actually going to share my screen with you all so we can actually go through this and I can explain something really interesting to you all. So, if this will work for me. Hold on. All right. I'm going to share my iPad screen with you all. All right, hopefully you can see this. I'm going to turn it over. So the word that we were dealing with was lillahi, right? And it looks like this. And you have lillahi. Now, generally speaking, when we talk about Allah's name, it doesn't actually look like this, right? It looks like this. Right, that's what Allah's name looks like, right? Allahu. But this just means Allah, right? This just means Allah. That's what that means. And this means for Allah or to Allah. Actually, you can't even see that. I'm just going to use a different, here. Right, this one means for or to Allah. So what ends up happening here is that the alif gets dropped, right? So when the alif gets dropped, you're left with something that looks like this. But you want to add another lam, right? To say for Allah. So that's 1 lam, 2 lams, 3 lams. And the ancient Arabs are like, no way, bro, that's too many lams. I can't do that. So they say, you know what? Keep it as it is, but add a kasra here and the shadda there, and you already know you can read it as lillahi, right? That's literally what happened. So the alif gets dropped. Now, same thing happens in Bismillah, or sorry, not Bismillah. Actually, I'm going to explain the Bismillah thing later, but for now I want you to stick with that. But that's basically what happened. Okay. All right. Faye, yes, Kathleen, you have a question?
Yeah, so every time there's that little, I don't know what it's called, the little W on top.
Yeah.
It doubles the letter?
Yep, it doubles the letter. So yeah, we're gonna go more into that. So if you actually look here, for example, at number 4, qul, so for example, you have a lam here for qul, and then there's a lam here for li. So you're still reading both lams, but you actually skip over this lam and just go directly into that lam. So qul liman, right? Same thing here. There's a meme, there's a noon, there's another meme here, there's a shadda. It's just a way to read it. Shaddas are something you'll get used to.
Okay.
Alrighty. Hinda, can you do number 5? Assalamu alaikum.
Did you want me to finish 4 first?
That's not a bad idea, Faye. Sorry about that. Yeah, go ahead. So the lillahi.
Or someone else can do it. Well, I have a question actually about the lillahi, because usually in the Quran I don't see 2 shaddas next to each other like that, right? Like the first lam wouldn't have the shadda the way you showed it in the previous writing.
So this is actually one case where I believe in the Quran in this specific verse in Surat al-An'am, I think you would find the double shadda. But yeah, you're right. This is not common. But qul lillah. If you look at Surat al-Nas, I believe Surat al-Nas also has certain double shaddas as well. The last surah in the Quran. But yeah, go ahead after lillahi.
Okay, kataba is fi'l.
Good.
Ala is harf. And al-Rahman is ism.
Yep, good job. Okay. Hinda, are you with us? You can do number 5 if you are.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
You said forever. أعوذ برب الفلق.
A'udhu is what?
أعوذ is fi'l.
Okay, good job.
And برب, the ba is harf.
Yep, good job. Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khair.
Yeah.
Alrighty. We have questions. Single letter harf connects with the following word, right? So Michelle, I think you're asking about the name of Allah. Yes, that's a single letter lam connecting to it. Sumer, can you please explain what you would like for me to explain? Sarah, does this happen with other words or is it specific to Allah? I assume the lam dropping off. It will happen to other words when there's several lams within it. Rooney, what does qul say? What is qul? It cannot be an ism. Qul is a verb and it's a commanding verb. And it's you'll learn about it later, inshallah. But qul means say. It's called fi'l amr, which means the fi'l, the verb of commanding. Sumer, okay. Yeah, so I was basically mentioning that with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's name, or with just letters where the alif is going to drop. The alif is often seen as an extra letter. So you can actually play around with the alif. You can volley it different places when you write sentences. So with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's name, it's often there to make the word definite, to say that this is Allah, the God. But now it's saying lillahi, to Allah. The Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's name, though it may not have the alif there in completion of the alif lam, the context is still understood to mean that this is for God or to God. Salma, you're right. Yeah, sorry, not nas, but falaq. Falaq has triple shaddas in certain places. Yes. Okay, good job, y'all. Recognition, right? How do we recognize words? Right, let's see here. So we had spoken about the ism, right? And within the ism, we had mentioned that there are certain ways to recognize the ism. What are some of those ways? Well, not we, but you've read about them, right? In your work, in your video. So you know about some of them. So now we're going to see how that plays out. Now, this is mainly review. This is mainly a lab. So the recognition tip is what? Alif Lam, which you already know, and then Tanween, which you already know. Now, keep this in mind. Very often, almost always, an ism will not end in a sukun. What is a sukun? The sukun is this little round guy over here. Often, it combines the letter. So if you see the word ism here, the word ism has a sakin or a sukun right on top of the sin, right? Ismun, tanween. But an ism will not end, meaning what? That the last letter in an Arabic word, if it has a sakin, it is not, or a sukun. It's called sukun or sakin. Sometimes I'll call it sakin. If it does not have that noon there, then, or sorry, what am I saying? If it does not have a sakin, then guess what? It's not going to be an ism. Now a fi'l. We spoke about this as well. How do we recognize a fi'l? Through anit. The letter alif, the letter noon, the letter ya, the letter ta all come before in the beginning of a verb. Now, this is your first lesson. These aren't the only ways to recognize an ism, but these are a fi'l. These are the major ways to recognize a fi'l or a verb. What else? We also spoke about harfs. And harfs are often 1 to 2 letters, and single harf letters are connected to the word. So like we said, wa or ba, things of that nature. Random question, but does sukun or sakin have anything to do with the word sakin, which means calm in both conversational Arabic and Turkish? I wouldn't see why not, because it's making the word, the word is a settling sound, right? It's settling. Tanween, ismun. So there is a sense of settling that occurs in it, which is not far off. Alif, for example, the word alif, as we spoke about, if somebody in our class named Alif, I believe, or in the other class, but it comes from the idea of وَأَلَّفَ بَيْنَ قُلُوبِهِمْ, to combine together. So it definitely would not be a coincidence. The pronoun hum ends in a sukun. It does, but we're going to actually learn, Saima, later that pronouns are not susceptible to change in most scenarios of the last letter. There are certain cases where they can become u or e, but they won't be a, for example. And the sakin does not end, meaning what? That the sakin in the pronouns are considered isms, they are considered nouns. There's very little wiggle room to change the sakin. I've heard the letters of the Arabic alphabet have meanings. We'll talk about that later, inshallah. These prefixes, Kathleen, very good question for the verb. Yes, there will be other verbs, and we'll find ways to, inshallah, see them. These are prefixes for the present tense verbs as mentioned, but we're gonna learn about how those other words will change, inshallah. To give you an example, af'alu means I did, or I am doing. Naf'alu means we are doing. Yaf'alu means he is doing, and taf'alu means you are doing, or she is doing. But if I want to make that into the past tense, it'll become fa'altu, I did, fa'alna, we did, fa'ala, he did, and fa'alat, she did, right? That's what basic, and then fa'alta is you did, fa'alti is you did feminine. So we're going to learn that later, inshallah. Very good questions, everyone. All right, let's move on. Oh yeah, and this last part, right? Cannot ever end in a tanween. The fi'l and harf can never end in a tanween. So keep that in mind. The only thing that ends in a tanween is going to be the ism. All right. How's everyone doing so far? Alive and kicking, everyone? Doing good? Rabbun ends in a sukoon, but it's an ism. Faruq Rabbun actually does not end in a sukoon. It ends in a double tanween. Rabbun. Right? Rabbun. So that's not a sukoon, inshallah. All right. Let's see. We did most stuff. Let's talk about the noun case. This is the fun stuff. In Arabic, nouns have variable endings depending on their function in the sentence. Meaning what? Certain sounds will come out from the end of isms based on the fact that their grammatical function is a certain way within a sentence. What does that mean? That means the following. That the same word can be rendered in different ways depending on context. What's an example of that? Here's one. Muhammadun Rasulullah. Muhammad, right, is the messenger of God. But then here, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, right, in the adhan. And then, Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin. Now here's a question. Why is the red guy, the red Muhammadun, the blue Muhammadan, and the green Muhammadin? Right? Very simple, because red means Muhammadun, blue means Muhammadan, and green means Muhammadin. Right? Absolutely not. Don't ever let anyone tell you that a color is going to dictate grammar in Arabic. If they do, report them to Fawaka Institute. But no, there's a reason. And what's the reason? We're going to go over this in a very interesting manner. But before I get into that, where else have you seen this concept before? For example, what about if I take the word Allah, God? Say, He is God, one, right? Qul huwa Allahu ahad, or Inna Allaha wa malaikatahu, right? If you are in the Friday prayer in Jumu'ah, you'll hear the Imam say, Inna Allaha wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi. But here, same thing, Allahu, Allaha, and then Bismillahi, Allahi, right? Why does that happen? Well, why that happens, we're going to talk about throughout this course. This course very heavily will be a study of why something is oo or ah or e. We're going to spend a lot of time in that, okay? Why is something oo? Why is something ah? Why is something e? We're going to talk about that throughout this course. But let's talk about English. You have the same idea, kind of. Who, whom, whose. And actually, you can jot this down, but the study of the oo, ah, e, of the noun cases, very often in Arabic, is a study of, I'm actually going to let you all guess this. Who wants, I want to let one person try. What do you think the oo, ah, e is a study of in respect to this? Who, whom, and whose? Well, all right, I'll just give it to you because I'm so nice. It's a study of the who, what, where, when, why, how. You know, in English, we used to learn that, the who, what, where, when, why, how. So a lot of the study of the oo, ah, e, or the un, an, in, will be contextualizing words. So when it has an oo or an un sound, it may have one meaning. An ah or an un sound, it may have another meaning. And an e and an in sound, it may have another meaning. Now, I want you to notice something. I'm saying it may. It doesn't always have to, but it may. All right. Hence the question. Is there a specific time to use each one? And I kind of answered that for you. Now, how do we go about identifying them? Well, I'm going to make your life easy, right? If you hear U or un. You see u or un? It's called rafa. Okay, rafa. Rafa is what it's called. If you hear a or an, it's called nasab. And if you hear e or in, it's called jar. Okay. If you hear e or in, it's called jar. And I'm going to try to write this out for you so your lives are easier. So again, if you hear u or un, so let's say you have kitabun, right? Or al-kitabu. If you have this, kitabun or al-kitabu, this is going to be rafa. Right? This is going to be rafa. And then you're going to have something called nasab, which will look like this. They'll have, I'm actually just going to copy this completely. Copy, paste, right? We're just going to change one thing. I'm going to ask you actually, how do I turn this into nasab? Now you all know. Who wants to try? You can just shout it out by unmuting your mic.
Yeah, I can try.
Go ahead.
It's gonna be kitaba and kitaban.
Good. Kitaba and kitaban. A or an, right? Right. Good job. And then what do we have?
Isn't that backwards, by the way?
Which one?
Shouldn't it be kitaban and al-kitaba?
Good job.
Yeah.
I was seeing who's paying attention.
Because of the alif lam.
Remember, alif lam and tanween don't go together.
Right.
All right, and the last one is jar. Actually, let's paste it again. Good. And then how do I make this into jar? How do I make al-kitabu into jar? And how do I make kitabun into jar?
Al-kitabi.
Good job.
Kitabin.
Good job. I'm just gonna make this line here, e and in. Okay. My beautiful chicken scratch. Okay. All right. Dua, why does alif lam not go with tanween? It just doesn't. It's just one of those rules. It's like I before E except after C. What's the logical reasoning behind I before E except after C? I have no idea, right? But it's a grammar rule. Can I put my chicken scratch back up on the screen? Yes. All right. Let me know when you're done, Michelle. You see al-kitabu, al-kitaba, al-kitabi, kitabun, kitaban, kitabin. Do you mind giving the English equivalent for each tense? Right now, they all mean book. Kitab means book. What does kitabin, kitabun, or kitaban mean? Right now, you're not going to learn that. You're going to learn that, inshallah, when we get more into the course. Okay. Can I move it, Michelle? Okay, thank you. So coming back here. All right. You know what? I think we'll take a quick. Actually, what time? Yeah, it's let's take a quick 5-minute break, inshallah. There's a couple more questions coming in. We'll take a 5-minute break. Go ahead and stretch and jump around and, you know, do whatever you need to do to not fall asleep for the next hour, inshallah. And we'll be back in 5 minutes, inshallah. So now. Okay, everyone, welcome back. I see a really interesting question that came up about the different ways Rafa, Nasab, and Jar are expressed. So I know it's here in the book as Rafa is listed as nominative, Mansub is accusative, and Majrur is genitive. Feel free to like completely forget that if you. I personally never use those titles. Rafa, Nasab, and Jar are labels, right? Just see them as labels and recognize them as labels. Don't worry about the nominative, accusative, genitive. If you were to test me on those three concepts, I'd be like, I don't know what that is. So they're labels. They're often associated to academic works in English about Arabic. If it helps you, great. But I think it's just easier to use Rafa, Nasab, and Jar. Don't worry too much about, genitive, nominative, accusative. I know some of you have outlined it, but I'd say like, don't lose any sleep over it, inshallah. All right. Let's go on to the next lesson, al-dama'ir al-munfasila, detached pronouns. Pronouns are really fun. Once you like get the hang of them, they're actually really cool. And we're all kind of familiar with pronouns, right? If I were to say, my name is Nihal, right? Or if you were to talk about me in the second person or in the third person, say, his name is Nihal. Nihal wakes up in the morning. Nihal eats breakfast in the morning. Nihal prays Fajr in the morning. Nihal tries to run in the morning. You're gonna think that there's somebody really obsessed with me, and please don't do that, right? That's why we use pronouns. Pronouns do what? If your name is Ismail, you'll say Ismail woke up this morning. He went out for a run. He had breakfast. He went and taught at a school when it wasn't COVID time. He went and hung out by the water. You'll use the word he, or if there's somebody named Fatima, right? Fatima went to school today. She went and hung out with her friends. She went and had coffee, something like that. Or you wouldn't continuously over and over and over again use that person's first name, right? So let's go over pronouns, right? Pronouns here, actually, this is the first one, right? Huwa, which means he, What's the second pronoun, y'all? Let's see, I'm gonna ask people. There's a lot of folks that haven't asked anything. I'm coming for y'all, be careful. I'm coming. Latif. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
What's the next pronoun?
Humma.
Good job. Khadija Salahuddin. Okay, I don't think she's there. Al-Hassan Al-Wattar. Can you tell me the next pronoun?
Hum.
Good. And then who else? Alif. Can you tell me what the next pronoun is afterwards? Okay, Alif's not there. Hamza Sayed.
We are at, where is she? Assalamu alaikum. Here.
Good job. Rooney.
The next would be Huma.
Awesome. Farouk. Okay, Farouk's not there. Mehreen Salim.
Salam.
It's salam.
Hunna.
Hunna, very good. All right, Zahra Imam, next one. Zahra, are you with us? Okay, I'll come back to you. Noor Harapko? No. Jinan?
Oh, it took me a minute to figure
Oh,
out.
it's all
how to
good.
unmute. Sorry.
All like good to have you with us.
Thank you.
All right. What do you think is the pronoun here?
Oh, yeah, I'm on. Okay. It is Anatia.
Anta. Very good.
Anta.
Yep. So when there's a sakin, we'll join the letter before it after. So anta. All right. Good job. Let's see. Gina, you want to do the next one?
Antuma.
Good job. Let's see. Antuma, and then Bilal Zaman.
Yeah, Antum.
Antum, thank you. And then Maryam, Matthew. Assalamu alaikum, Maryam. I know you're unmuted, but I can't hear you. Can you hear me, Maryam? I can't hear you. We'll come back to you, okay? Ayman?
It's empty.
Empty, very good. Tahira Batul?
It's Antuma again.
Good. Good job. And then Muhammad, I can't read your last name because it's not showing up on my thing.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaykum salam.
Antunna.
Antudna. Awesome. What's your last name, by the way?
Danani.
What is it?
Nani.
Dani?
Danani. Danani.
The Danani. Okay. Got it. Thank you. And then we are with Sumair Ahmed.
Assalamu alaikum.
Like so.
Anna.
Anna, good. And then Rayan Osmani for the touchdown. Game point.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaykum.
Nahnu.
Nahnu. I'm right on the buzzer. Thank you. Now, I want everyone to keep this in mind. You've got to have these memorized, okay? You got to have them memorized. So the pronouns, is, do you see them in front of you? Huwa, huma, hum. Hiya, huma, hunna. Anta, antuma, antum. Anti, antuma, antunna. Ana, nahnu. Right? I would say memorize the first half. Huwa, huma, hum. Hiya, huma, hunna. Anta, antuma, or the first part. Huwa, huma, hum. Hiya, huma, hunna. Focus on that part first. Memorize those, and then into the second part. Okay. Find a way that works, and I believe these should also be in the Memorize app. What is the correct pronoun? Let's do some exercises. Remember, y'all, this is lab. Okay, this isn't class. This is lab. Ziad, third person referring to this dude. What do you think? There's a pronoun called Come on. You got this. You can look at your notes. What do you think?
Hua.
Mm-hmm. You got it. You got it. All right. Sarah Sullivan.
Assalamu alaikum.
Makes it out.
Inti.
Good.
Inta.
What about both of them?
Entuma.
Good. Awesome. Good job. You just answered like 3 questions. Good for you. All right. Ahmad.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
This is home.
Home. Good job. Zubair Malik.
Hunna.
Awesome. Nope. Second person, right? Not third person.
Yeah.
So, well, you're right. Third person would be hunna, right? But if I'm saying all of you women is antunna, and it's specifically in reference to 3 or more women. Antunna. All right. Good job. Let's see. Hinda? If you're there.
This is the first person. Let's see. Huma.
First person.
Nahnu. First
Yep.
person, nahnu, I'm sorry.
Remember, first person is on the bottom, second person is in the middle, and the third person is on the top.
We, nahnu.
Yep. Good job. Good try. Faye?
Anna.
Yep, good job. Khadija?
Anna.
Yep, good job. Michelle?
Huma.
Antuma. You see why?
Yeah.
Second person, right? Second
Yeah.
person is you two, Antuma. Right, second person means there's a second person in front of me, or there's 2 people in front of me. So both of you, Antuma. Right, first person is, I'm one of those 2 guys. And I'm like, hey, let's go somewhere. Us, we, nahnu. And third person, those 2 guys, huma, right? Those 2 guys is huma. You 2 guys is antuma. Us guys is nahnu. Okay. Fahmina, merchant.
Huna? Hunna. Oh, it's female.
Good.
Okay.
Good job. Hunna, good.
Hunna.
Hunna, very good.
Hunna. Yeah.
Okay, and we have Akhtar Ali Khan.
Second person, this is plural.
Good.
So that would be antum.
Let's see. Are you sure?
Because it's plural, right? So it's more than 2 per person.
Yep. So you're right. Antum. Good.
Yes.
Good. Good. All right. Thank you. And then Hasnain Rizvi.
Third person female. Hunna.
Yeah.
You sure? Final answer?
Oh no, sorry. I don't know why I thought that was plural. No, here.
Final answer?
Third person singular. Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
All right, good. I wanted to say, you just won $1 million in Regis Philbin's voice. But, all right. Thank you. Saima. You're muted.
Anna.
Actually, yeah, that's right. But I think there's a lot of people here, so you're gonna have to answer twice.
Me.
Huh?
It answered for me. It's
It
antum.
did. It did.
Yeah.
It did. Okay, here, actually, Simon, here. What about this one?
Same thing, antum. Antuma. Anti. Antum.
Good. Awesome. Selma.
Antuma.
What is it?
If it's the what is it? Second person, first person, third.
Well, here, actually, let me ask you.
Huma.
if there's two people, what could the pronouns be?
It could be huma,
Mm-hmm.
antuma.
Could it be antuman here? I thought antuma is for two men.
I think so. Antuma. No, it could also be for two girls, it says.
Okay, good. Awesome. How about third person?
Third person, huma.
Third person is huma? There's two ladies.
No,
So it's the same pronoun?
no.
Okay, what about that guy's there?
No. It would be,
Look at men complicating everything as usual.
it would be home. Well, yeah, it would be home. Yeah.
Okay, what about this guy also showed up? These are like all uninvited house guests coming to your wedding during COVID.
Home.
Good. Right, so that's really interesting to note that hunna is used specific to when there's more than three women, basically, right? That's the main point. But if it's a mix of men and women, then the pronoun that's used is hum. Okay. Good job. Important note, there is no neutral pronoun such as it in Arabic. And an ism will either be masculine or feminine, even if it's neutral in English. So every word in Arabic has to be classified as a masculine word or a feminine word. There just isn't a neutral word there. But in English, we can use it, right? We can use it to refer to something without knowing whether it's masculine or feminine. So that's important to note. Let's do some examples. قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. Let's see. Let's practice your pronouns. Oh, hold on. I gotta. Kathleen, is it true that feminine, the feminine is tun? I think you mean tunna. Yeah, tunna when there's a noon with a shadda on it. For example, antunna and hunna. Yes, they're feminine endings. Very good. Sarah? Not, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to say your last name for me one more time.
Me?
Yes.
Well, you can say Bujela.
How did you say it before? I want to say it the right way.
Barjela.
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 Okay.
It's North African.
Yes.
Channel your North African.
Barjela.
Barjela, yeah.
Okay, got it.
Barjela.
Okay, so قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. So which one here is the right pronoun?
Hua, he.
Hua.
Good. So the translation of this would be?
He.
Say he is
Allah.
Allah the one. Very good. All right, thank you. All right, Osama Malik. وَبِالْآخِرَةِ هُمْ يُوقِنُونَ. And about the hereafter, blank are certain.
Hum is they, plural, so they masculine.
Yep. All right, good job. And then Dua Shu'aib. Ya Adam uskun anta wa zawjuka al-jannata. Oh Adam, live blank and your spouse in paradise.
Anta
You.
is you masculine.
Yep, good job.
You.
All right. Who's next? Aisha Abdul Basit. Ana Allahu Rabbul Alameen. Blank am Allah, Lord of the worlds.
Anna, I am Allah, Lord of the world.
Very good. And then Afishatu. Inna nahnu nazzalna alayka al-Qur'ana tanzila. So nahnu.
نحن نحن we?
You sure? Yep. You got it. And then was it Sister Farida?
Yep.
All right, awesome.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Number 6. Wallahu al-ghaniyyu wa antumul fuqara.
Antum.
And Allah is free of need, while blank are poor. Now you may notice here that there's a dhamma on antum. It's not antum anymore, it's antumu. And the reason is because when there's two seconds next to each other, then, well, I'll answer this in a second, but sister, you can go ahead and answer what antum al-fuqara is.
While you, what antum?
Yep.
You.
Yep. You. 3 plus. Very good. Now, to answer that, new share, iPad. All right. So the verse that here was shown was from Surat Muhammad, verse number 38, where Allah says, Wallahu ghani, right? Wallahu ghaniyun. What was this pronoun right here? Antum, right? This is how we've been writing it, antum. Now there's a word that came after it. Al-fuqara. Now I'm going to do something else. Also, if you all don't mind, can you please mute your microphones? Wa antumul fuqara. Now, here you have a sakin, and here you have a sakin. And now I'm going to remove this, and I want you to concentrate on this thing. 2 seconds cannot come next to each other, right? This doesn't work, right? This just doesn't happen. Can't happen. So instead, what happens? The ancient Arabs were like, dude, this is just not going to work. I'm sorry. This double sakin thing, there can't be 2 seconds in one place, right? So they're like, look, we have to have a compromise. What are we going to do? So the pronoun was so generous, and the pronoun's like, listen, I'll remove my sakin for the greater good, and I'll simply make myself a dhamma. And it says, look, the dhamma is over here, and over here, I'm surrounding myself by it. I'll just kind of take on the dhamma. That's what ends up happening. It's not much of this kind of circumstance that just happens. That's how they read it. Wallahu al-ghani wa antumul fuqara. Because you can't say antum al-fuqara. Your lips just kind of end up saying it like that. So that's a bit more of a simplistic way of understanding that as to why it's shown like that. Okay. And then let's get into the Surat al-Fatiha analysis. I think all of y'all did this. Alrighty. So we're going to skim for word recognition. That's the first thing we're going to take a look at. So you should circle the words that you know. Use those as pegs to figure out the general gist or theme of the read passage. And you know this how, because you should have memorized some of the vocab word or memorized the pronouns. Okay. Number 2, if you can't skim, then take a very good educated guess. Look closely at the words you did not recognize, okay? And try to get their meaning. How do you guess their meaning? Number 1 is the context. If you know most of the words in a sentence, you can often take an educated guess at the meaning of the 1 or 2 words that you don't recognize. Number 2, you can use root letters. So even if you don't know the meaning of a word, you can get an idea of its meaning if you look at the root letters, right? So you can guess that the word katib probably has something to do with writing. And I'm going to give you all another little lesson in this, right? Hold on 1 second. Give you guys a nice lesson on this. How do we actually look at things with root letters? It's going to give you a little showcasing of this. So look at the root letters of Ra, Ha, and Mim. And if you look at the red over here, you have Ar-Rahmanu and Ar-Rahimu. Look, rahama, it's the same 3 root letters. Now, what else shares root letters in Arabic? How about the word mercy? The word mercy has root letters, right? Rahama comes from that root word. Rahamun is the womb that a child is in, and it's connected to the word mercy. Marhum is somebody receiving God's mercy. So often in Urdu, they may refer to somebody that's passed away as marhum, and even in Arabic. In Arabic, to say that somebody passed away, what do we say? We say, intaqala ila rahmatillahi, that person has moved on into God's mercy. Right? And these are just other ideas, other words. Same thing here. Maliki yawmiddin comes from the root of malaka. Mulkun is a dominion. Mamlukun is something owned. Malikun is an owner. Right? And if you all got your Hansware dictionaries, right, you can take a look at them and see the root. Right? I'll show you an idea of it. Root letters. So when you have root letters and you open up, let's say, your Hansware, you can just open up to some root letters. I think you guys can see this and see how many words come out from it. Everyone got this, right? I have a different version, but you get the idea. So get familiar with your dictionaries. You're going to use them eventually. So that was the point there, coming back to our lesson. Right? So context, root letters, and then lastly, look at the morphological patterns. This is what we call in Arabic sarf, right? You may recognize the pattern of a word, which we'll discuss later, but remember the idea of math I had mentioned? There's a lot of formulas. If you understand the formulas, you'll understand how to create words. And don't worry, we're going to go through that together. And then there's also translation. Figure out the structure and how sentences are set up, and look at the word list that you already know, and you can either confirm or deny or educated guess as need be. Right? That's the main point. Now, there's something I also did want to mention. The vocab lists that are provided to you for each text are given to help you in the text being studied. Right? So some certain words you may already know. For example, you may know the word Rabb and its translation as being Lord and its plural being Arbabun. You may already know that, or Arbab, right? You may already have that understanding. So make sure you're doing your vocab because you're going to need it, right? You're going to need it. You may not have to memorize them word for word, but you have them there. So if you read them enough, you'll pick up on them. So we can go through this. Let's go through Surat al-Fatiha. Let's see. John, you want to start us off? I think you're muted. I think you're muted, John.
Okay. So we have Bismillah, and then there's an aleph without a mark.
Yeah. Which one are you talking about?
In first ayah.
Which one is it without a mark, you said?
We have ba, that's a harf.
Uh-huh.
We have what looks like ism.
Yeah.
Although it's joined to the harf.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no aleph that has the vowel associated with it.
Got it, got it.
And then the mi of the end of ism also flows into Allahi.
Yep.
And so you're writing the aleph, but you're not marking it.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct. Hold on one second. I'm trying to see if the slides.
So.
Yeah, 1 second. I think it skipped the slide. Because usually it's supposed to bring up the. Yeah, I'm just trying to find that. Sorry, 1 second, y'all.
sorry, was there a specific question you were asking me about the first verse?
Yeah, I was seeing if we could go through the analysis of it. So, but for some reason the analysis is supposed to show up as the ism or the fi'l or the harf. But
okay, so we have a harf, an ism, an ism, an ism, and an ism.
Yeah. Very good. Okay. Now, there's a couple of points when you read Surah Fatiha, just to keep this in mind. Number one, in Rahman and Rahim, right? You want to make sure you're reciting your ha versus ha, right? The ha comes from here. And actually, so sometimes people will say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Rahim. Rahim is a thirsty camel. So your mistake is actually referencing God as a thirsty camel, so don't do that. Pronounce the shaddas, for example, iyaka versus iyaka, right? Yawmaddin, right? Or yawmiddin, the shaddas we've gone over. And then this is a ta as opposed to a ta, right? Ta. And then an'amta, right? An'amta, as opposed to saying an'amta. So that's an ayn, an'amta, right? And then the ha in ihdina, ihdina, right? That's the most important thing to keep in mind. Ihdina, right? Emphatically as a ha. It's not ihdina, it's ihdina. And then dallin, right? It's a dal as opposed to a dal, right? It's a dal. So I just want to keep that in mind as well. And then it's not a za either or a va. So those just points. We can go through it. I'm actually going to pull it up over here as a all right. Cool. We're just going to use this. So John did the first line for us. Let's go back down. Let's see. Sireen Ansari. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
So let's go ahead. Ar-Rahman, is it an ism, fi'l, or a harf?
Ism.
Good. Ar-Rahim?
Ism again.
Good. Shona Siddiqui?
Assalamu alaikum.
Excellent.
So the next one.
Yeah.
Ism, alhamdulillah.
Oh, no, down here.
Sorry.
Can you see my screen?
Where are we?
Hello? Can you see my screen, Shona?
Yes, Ism. Sorry, Maliki Yawmiddin.
Yeah, so Maliki is Ism. How about Yom?
Also Ism.
All right, Ad-Din?
And Ism.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Kathleen? Marchand?
Yes.
All right. So what is this one?
Fin.
Very good. How about this guy? Oh, not that whole thing. This.
Okay, that's a harf.
Good. And then this?
That's an ism.
Very good. Awesome. And then Latif?
I'm guessing ism.
You're guessing ism?
Yes.
What do you think though? What do you think as an educated guess?
Oh no, I'm going with verb. I'm going with fa'al.
I want to know why.
Because of the aleph at the end has basically a sukun on it because we're going nun fatha alif sukun.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. How about as-sirata? Khadija Salahuddin, are you with us? Walaikum salam. I can't hear you, sister.
She put it in the chat.
Okay. Okay, good. And then how about mustaqim, Khadija? Is it ism, fi'il, or harf? This one. Awesome. Thank you very much. Al-Hasan, Al-Wata, if you're with us. Okay, it's all good. Alif, Sirata. Are you with us, Alif?
He's on chat.
Okay. For some reason, the chat just like disappears. Very good. And then how about an'amta, Alif? What do you think an'amta is? Yup, good job. Awesome. And then Rooney. Can you tell me what al-maghdubi is?
That would be al-maqdubi would be ism, and then B would be harf, right?
No. B is actually not harf. B is actually a part of the word.
It's a part of it. Okay, so it's all ism then.
Yeah, good job.
Okay.
And then Farouk, al-dallin.
I think it's an ism.
You think or you know?
I'm like 75% sure.
What gives you that 75% of surety?
Let's see now.
Like I want you to give me a reason as to why you think it's ism.
Oh yeah, I understand. Trying to.
You got to go through your notes. You just tell me.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm really basing it on the meaning that is an ism.
Okay, but I want you to go back to the beginning, right? How do we identify an ism? Because there's a very clear indicator of something that shows it to be ism.
The na at the end.
No, go back to your notes. Do you have your notes there?
Yeah, wait.
Look at the beginning, lesson 1's beginning. Look at page number, because it'll help solidify it. Look at page number 22.
Oh, one is that is preceded by al.
Very good. Alif lam, right? Comes with it. That's why it's an ism.
Al is, yeah, okay.
Good job. Now let's go back. Oh, sorry. Go back here. Not share. Right, through this. So, quick review before we get into our quiz. Right, inshallah, I think there should be enough time before we close out. Just to keep this in mind here. A fi'l, a verb, carries time and there is an independent meaning in each fi'l. So for example, kataba means he did what? He wrote, right? Yaktubu means he is writing. So the he is already therein. But now ism, writing, is what? Kitaba. Kitaba. Right? That's the point, is kitaba. So what are the types of words that we saw in Al-Fatiha? We saw, for example, a harf, the ba, the li, right? We saw all of those. And as you can tell here, the blue is ism. So all these are isms. And then we had 2 harfs in the beginning. And then in the last part of Surah Fatiha, you have a combination. You have isms, and then you have verbs, na'budu, and then nasta'in. An'amta, you have all of that. Then you have nouns, which is iyaka, or iyaka, and then as-sirat al-mustaqim. And you have some particles, alayhim, right? And wala-dhalin. To Dua's question, which why is it we didn't go over that? That's probably because there's a certain way that the harf and the pronoun as an attached pronoun will interact. And I think we're gonna, inshallah, learn about that soon, because sometimes people get confused because the harf is alay or ala, but then when it comes with an attached pronoun, it'll be alay. That's like the main point. Okay. So what was the root word for ayn, ba, and dal? Ayn, ba, and dal, which is abd. Abd means to be in servitude or in worship, right? And abd also refers to a slave, but it has all those meanings for the most part. Fay ghayr is a harf because it means not. It's actually not a harf, and we'll get into why. Remember, we said usually it's 2 letters. Most harfs are 2 letters. Yeah. All right. And are we at the quiz? All right, y'all. So we're at the quiz. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this up. You should have the quiz, right? The link to the quiz, you should have it. And I would like you all to, inshallah, also copy the link into the chat as well. This shouldn't take too long. The purpose of the quiz mainly, to keep this in mind, is so you have all of the material in front of you. You know, you went through it and we don't want you to forget it. Okay? So we want to give you a quiz at the end of this class, and it's a way of checking you for your understanding. So inshallah, we'll take the quiz after reviewing the lesson each week. That way this class is done. You'll start preparing for lesson 2 right away. So let me pull this up. I'm going to send it to you all. And if you have any questions, you can ask me, but I think this shouldn't take you too long.
Is this the quiz that's online?
Yeah, I believe so. It should be the one on Class Marker.
I think I took it already.
Oh, if you took it, that's fine. But it's probably better usually to take it right after the class.
Oh, I hadn't realized.
Yeah, but if not, it's okay. Can Ziyad, can nasta'inu also be a fi'l because it has noon in the front? It's not, can it also be a fi'l? It is only a fi'l. It's only a verb. Alrighty. Go ahead. I've sent you the link. Take care of it, inshallah. I'm here.
Brother, I already completed the quiz. I didn't know that you have to wait till the end. So can you reset the quiz for me, or I can take something else?
Let me see.
I took it as well, I believe.
Brother Ismail, what are your thoughts? So if you already took the quiz, then it's okay.
Okay.
You can leave early, or yeah. I hope you all enjoyed class. I hope it wasn't too difficult, too challenging. There is a saying I'll leave you all off with in Arabic. It's called, the saying is وَمَنْ يَتَهَيَّبْ صَعُودَ الْجِبَالِ يَعِشْ أَبَدَ الدَّهْرِ بَيْنَ الْحُفَرِ. That وَمَنْ يَتَهَيَّبْ صَعُودَ الْجِبَالِ, whosoever kind of doesn't attempt to climb a mountain, right? right? If you don't attempt to climb, يعيش أبد الدهر بين الحفر. Forever you shall remain at the bottom of the mountain. You're just going to keep looking up at it. And Arabic is that mountain. Arabic is that ocean. If you don't attempt to swim, if you don't try to get your feet wet, you're never going to be able to get anything out of it. So it's important in life that we try and we do our best and we attempt to, inshallah, grow in our learning, and you'll see that there will be a lot of good stuff to come out. And yeah, as Brother Ismail said, that the quizzes are just reinforcement, right? That's all it is, right? You can always go back and study and then take it as a reinforcement, inshallah. Yeah. So we're going to be closing off in exactly 9 minutes. But if you need more to do the quiz, that's completely okay. But this window with me is going to close in 10 minutes or 9 minutes.
Can a quiz be retaken?
Can the quiz be retaken? Ismail, somebody's asking if the quiz can be retaken.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Inshallah, you all are well. If you did well on the quiz, then you don't need to retake it. And so the idea is that you take the quiz. If you feel like after taking it, there was 1 or 2 things I didn't understand, then you can go back, study again. And then the reinforcement quiz is there as a secondary quiz. So you don't take the same exact one twice, right? But if you did okay, then you're good. That means that you understand the content. Hopefully this review of it with you helped. And then you're on to lesson 2, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
I just want to understand that. So the quiz that we take, we should not take when we watch the videos, after the videos. We wait until the actual class, the lesson from you.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I didn't understand that.
Yeah.
Because I took it last night. Okay.
Not a problem, not a problem. You know, that comes with the first class and getting all the routines down. So
Right.
no worries at all.
Okay. Shukran.
Assalamu alaikum. I have a question as well.
Sure, go ahead.
I was curious if you guys have, like if there's a certain formula to acing this course, you know, like how many hours should we reserve to studying outside of this class, on Memorize, and then doing the lesson plan online and all that. I'm just curious if you guys have figured out what really helps with students.
Yeah, I think, alhamdulillah, having been involved with this and being a teacher of it for a while as well, essentially what we ask is that the amount of time that you put in class, like tonight, class is 2 hours, right? You put that same amount of time outside of class over the week. So not 2 hours every night, but if you took those 2 hours of class and you split that up over the rest of the week, okay, so if you watch your videos, right, everyone has the links to watch the videos. You watch your videos, and outside of those videos, if you took 2 hours and just spread it out over 6 days, or if you're someone who likes to just go hardcore on one day, you know, that's up to you, then that is enough time. We realize that you have enough on your plate as people who have other obligations. But essentially the amount of time you have live, if you take that time not live, then that's a good recipe for success. That you should be able to grasp the concepts in that amount of time. When it comes to Memorize, the vocabulary app, you know, vocab is one of those things that just the more exposure, the better you're going to be at remembering it. And we've had people from all different age groups take Fawaka, and it's okay. It's all about being consistent. Even if that means you do 5 minutes a day of Memorize, that's fine. We found that that's been very good. Just the consistency of it is what is key. So find for you, if you have like a 5-minute window each day of doing Memorize, then you know this is my Memorize time. That will be good for you in that regard. So essentially, to recap, you watch your videos, right? Those are as long as they take, and we've tried to make them as, you know, streamlined as possible. And then if you throughout the week, right, throughout the week, or however you want to spend 2 hours looking at the material, then you will have done enough to say that you should feel confident in being able to then come to class and then go through the exercises, ask good questions, interact with the instructor and your fellow students, and then 5 minutes a day of the memorized vocabulary.
Sounds great. Thank you so much. Jazakallah khair.
There was another question on the website. There's an orange button that says live class students, click here. Do we have to watch the videos through there, or can we just go through the YouTube links?
So watching the video through that orange button link is what helps us to know who's watched the videos, right? So then that way we're able to hold you a bit accountable. If you just watch them, otherwise we're not going to be able to do so. So we suggest that you watch it through that medium first, the button. But if you've already watched them, you want to go back, then you can just click the individual videos and watch.
All right, and then how do I access the Memorize app?
Yeah, so that link, good question. That link was sent in the welcome email to everybody. If you didn't find that email or you didn't get it for some reason, it's also linked in our WhatsApp group. So the description of the WhatsApp group has a lot of little links in there, meant to be like a quick way to get there. So you'll see the link to the Memorize there and to that email. So if you can't find it and it's in the email, and then there's a link that will just add Memorize to your phone and let you download it, inshallah.
And then this video is also going to be put up on the Fawaka YouTube channel. So
yep, so inshallah within 24 hours of class, so no later than 8 p.m. tomorrow, inshallah, you will see that the video will be posted on our website, and we'll make sure to put the link in the WhatsApp for you all, just so that you're aware, hey, it's been posted, and you can go back and rewatch this recording and the explanation of the exercises if you would like.
Afishatu, you have your hand raised. If you have a question, you can ask.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't see the test link that you just sent, even though I did the test already, but I didn't see the one you sent now that you finished the lecture.
Yeah, if you already did it, then you don't have to worry about it.
But in case of next time, so I will know where to look for the link when you finish with the lecture.
So we will always, in class, just put the link right in the chat for you, so you don't have to look anywhere.
Oh, okay. So I didn't see it now. Anyway, maybe I wasn't looking good. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, if you, no problem. Yeah, we can, let me see, I don't see your name here. So, yeah, if you finished, then.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, perfect. So then you're good. You're good. You're okay for now then.
Thank you.
John, you had a question?
Yes, actually, I was in the room when Dr. Lar was stricken last year. How is he doing?
Allah. Alhamdulillah, he's doing okay. Thank you to students like yourself for thinking quick on your feet when that occurred. Alhamdulillah, he's progressing. It's a long journey of recovery, but he's doing okay. He's speaking slowly, and he's working with us. He's not teaching live classes, but he's active in our groups and is with his family and in good spirits. So alhamdulillah, we have to make dua to Allah to give him a full recovery.
Simon, you have a question?
Yeah, I did. Just about the quiz. So I just finished it while you guys were talking. I just have a question though. Is that what is expected of us, that we do the quiz while the class is still in session, or can we do it after it's over?
Yeah, we always leave about 10 to 15 minutes at the end of the class to do the quiz. So that way that you're ideally within the 2-hour commitment from 8 to 10. But if for some reason class takes the whole 2 hours to explain, then we'll just have the link and then you can take it after that.
Okay, all right. Jazakallah khair.
Oh, yeah.
Is there?
Well, I'm happy to stay on for other questions if people have. But if you're good to go, then, you know, Ustadh Nihal has already, I think, left us with some really good advice. And maybe you could officially close it with a short dua for us, or potentially, and then anyone who needs help, we're here to help you, inshallah.
Just a quick question. What's the name of the WhatsApp group which we're looking for?
You should have been added to it. It's just called, I have quite a few. Let me see where to go. Oh, it's called Fawaka 1A, starts 113. That was the name of the group.
Okay, I'll take a look. Thanks.
Assalamualaikum. I just had a question about like attendance.
Sure.
So, like, is our attendance for like the Zoom classes like compulsory?
So we are not, good question. We're not actively checking that attendance each class. We're not going to check everybody's name off on a roster. We leave that to you to attend. The idea is that this lab is going to be the most beneficial for you if you attend it live. But if for some reason something comes up and you can't join a given week, that's okay. The recording is posted and you can watch the recording.
Okay, yeah, just because like I live in New Zealand, so it's kind of like in the middle of the day for me. So I can't really commit to it every week, but yeah.
That's okay. We will make dua that we get leaders like your leaders over there. And
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
we
spread
need
the
it.
word. Yeah. All right, thank you then.
Yeah. If you're done, everyone, you can inshallah head out. Sleep on it. Sleep on everything you learned. You need it, inshallah. Take care, John.
I have checked. Would you be willing to post a slow pronunciation of the alphabet in short and long vowels for us, just so we hear you pronouncing it?
Sure.
Because I've had teachers and known other people where from one to the other was like listening to a different language at times.
Yeah, there's actually somebody that I know that does it. I'm actually going to send the link right now. His name is Wissam Sharif, and he actually did it with the entire Quran, I believe. So I'm just trying to pull that up with the letters. Just 1 second. Okay, I think this is it. Let me know if that link works. I think that has a pronunciation of the Arabic letters. And there's another one called the alphabet book. I'm sending that too. This one doesn't work in Chrome, so you may have to use Safari or Firefox or something else.
And there's a lot of resources out there. Flash is being phased out.
Yeah.
And over the years, a lot of people used Flash to create this kind of thing. So
yeah.
Is that a hyphen or an understroke?
That is I think an understroke.
Okay, I see it. Thank you.
Yep.
Assalamualaikum. I had a quick question. First, my name's Khadija. The U throws everyone off to Khadija, but it's Khadija. Sorry, my parents spelled it that way. I had a question when we were doing the Surat al-Fatiha and the breaking it down. Iyaka and ghayri were two words that threw me off. How to using the rulings to break it down into ism, harf, and fail. And actually, that's a question I got wrong on the quiz as well. Iyaka, we worship. I wrote worship. How do you apply the rules to those two words? Because there's no al, they're small words. They don't start with, I mean, one starts with alif, so ani, you think. But they're both ism.
You said for iyaka and for lady?
Lady.
And was it on the quiz?
Well, Iaga was on the quiz for just meaning, but.
Yeah. So right now, I don't think we've gotten into it unless it's in the vocab. But a lady is an ism. It's a very specific type of ism. And then iyaka is an addition, again, to the verb. And it's an additional type of word. Same thing. We're gonna get into it, inshallah.
Later? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Jazakallah.
No problem.
Yes, that second link was to Flash.
Oh, so it's not working?
Well, browsers are going to be phasing out support over time.
Yeah.
So
okay.
No, it doesn't work for me on this browser. Let me try.
Yeah, once you're done with your quiz, everyone, go to sleep. Take care, Khadija. Assalamu alaikum.
Good night.
Take care. Bye.
Yeah, I could not get to the quiz. Let me try this one here.
Did it work, Brother Akhtar?
Yeah, I'm trying now. Let's see if it works. Thank you. Jazakallah khair.
Oh, yeah. And then Fahmina or Farouk or Kathleen, any other questions you all have?
Oh, good. I was just finishing the quiz. I was
Okay.
concentrated. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm just finishing the quiz. Sorry.
Finishing. Sorry,
Oh.
it's last question. Sorry.
We can
No, that's
leave.
okay.
I can leave. Thank you.
Alrighty, assalamualaikum.
Sorry, I'm one of those slow students.
Yeah, it's okay. No, so what we'll do is we'll probably just close class and then you can take your time on the quiz. So we just wanted to make sure there were no questions.
Oh yeah, no, we're fine. Thank you. A very nice lecture today, and thanks for everything.
No problem.
All right. Should we close out, Ismail?
Yeah, I think we're good.
All right. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum
Wa alaikum salam.